Okay, I think we got it this time. Here. Okay, I think we got it this time. Need to hear that twice. All right, thanks everyone for your patience. Appreciate it. We are live on YouTube for people that can't join us here today, but we got a good number. We got 43 or so participating in our live stream, and it's 2:38, so we might as well get started. Happy Friday! I was just saying it is an incredibly beautiful day here right now in the DMV. I am just going to mute everyone. Hold on one second. We got some background. Perfect. There we go. Yeah, beautiful day. Around 55 degrees outside. Feels like spring. Pretty remarkable. So very nice though. Hope everyone is doing well today and enjoying their Friday so far. We're going to start out today the way we normally do. It's hard to believe it's been 2 weeks since we were last together. But I want to make sure that we take time while we are in the thick of it still to take time to reflect on what's happening with COVID and how it is impacting St. John's across the organization. And definitely we're feeling it. So I want to just walk us through kind of the latest. Let me give you the latest numbers, then we can talk a little bit more in depth there. We have, let's see, across the board. So in terms of people we support, we've got 3 active cases right now. That's down 5. So that's a good thing, down from 8. And then in terms of hospitalizations for people we support, we have 2, and that's also down 1, which is good. And those are both in DC, and the active cases are in Delaware and in New York. And remember, both Delaware and New York, we've not seen a lot of activity from COVID. Been very fortunate throughout that period, but we've got some very sad news, which I'll share with you momentarily. And then in terms of staff, active cases, we've got 10, and that's down 1 from the last time we were together. And so that's 1 in DC, 4 in Delaware, that's actually up 3. And then 4 in New York, which is up 2, and then 1 in Tennessee. And unfortunately, no active cases for staff in Virginia. But for hospitalizations for staff, we have 1 currently, and then in Delaware, we don't have anyone in Delaware that's hospitalized. We've had 2 deaths, and I think that's incredibly tragic that we've had deaths of team members, 1 in Delaware and then 1 in DC. So we lost Nathan Hudson, who is a DSP in Delaware and worked in the community living program. And then in DC, we lost Joseph Inbuela, who is also a direct support professional. Both of them leave a legacy of love and care and commitment to those that we support. Both of them were loved by those that we support and that they personally supported, as well as their team members. It's just a very sad thing to have to share. At the end of last year, going into January, we took time to think about those we had lost over the course of the year, both people we support, as well as staff members. And here it is, the first Friday in February, and we've already lost an individual that we support, which we talked about a couple of weeks ago, and then we have lost 2 of our own staff members. And Nathan had been with us since 2019, and then Joseph had been with us since 2007. Both committed to St. John's. Nathan had gone from being a sub to a full-time DSP, and Joseph had been with us since 2007 as a direct support professional. So just very, very tragic and heavy. And our thoughts and our prayers are definitely, our hearts go out to the teams in Delaware and the teams in DC, those of you that worked closely with both of these amazing gentlemen, as well as the people that they support. We can't imagine the loss that you are feeling at a personal level. And we just want you to know that we are holding space for you and with you at this time. So with that in mind, and just in light of everything that's going on with COVID and how it's impacted St. John's, let's just take a moment of silence and reflection. If you would just join me. Thank you. And I do want to just let you know kind of what happens sometimes behind the scenes when we find out about tragedies like this, when we lose a staff member. First, often it's our state office managers, it's the immediate supervisors that are in the thick of it right away, communicating with loved ones, with family members, whoever may be the point of contact. And I just want to thank those individuals and those staff members that play that role, because that is such a difficult space to be. Someone has lost, their dearest loved one, and often our staff are some of the first people that they end up talking to. And I know that our staff do that just with amazing compassion and dignity, but um, nevertheless, I know that it's a difficult situation. So I want you to be aware of that, and just you have our gratitude. And then on top of that, there's work that goes behind the scenes to make sure that we can find out what arrangements are being made. And then we can also help contribute to the family and support funeral arrangements and memorial services, and just with the team. So, I just want you to be aware that there's a number of people that really work at responding and making sure that St. John's as a whole organization extends its sympathies in a meaningful way to those that are the loved ones of those that we've lost. So, and that's, I think, something that our staff do is just such an amazing job, is just extending that compassion and love. So I just want to thank those that have worn that hat and have stepped into that space, often on more than one occasion. Thank you for taking on such just a difficult part of kind of the experience of that is our community in many ways when we lose somebody. And talking further about COVID, just as an update that's a little more positive, we are seeing vaccines increase. And so that's definitely a positive thing that's happening. Right now, we've got over 100 people that we support have been vaccinated, which is wonderful. The majority of those are in Tennessee, but we're starting to see availability in other states as well. And then also vaccines for staff, we're up to around 64, 65. So we're making progress there. That's a positive thing. I know, for example, I go for my second shot. I think George is going for his second shot next week as well. And again, you're not required to get the vaccine. It's something that the best thing we can do is encourage you to talk to your healthcare provider about the safety of the vaccine, which one might be right for you, whether or not one might be better or another for you because of just the makeup of the vaccine and maybe your particular health issues. So be sure to learn as much as you can about the vaccines that are available, and then be sure to talk to your healthcare professional before you sign up if you're considering get the vaccine. Should you get the vaccine, we definitely are asking that you follow through with HR, upload your documentation in Paycom. That's available now. We're starting to hear of jurisdictions that are asking for that documentation. It's no surprise. Thanks to our teams for being ahead of the curve there and being able to start collecting that information. If you have any issues or questions about that, if you struggle getting it, working with Paycom, be sure to talk to your supervisor. They can assist you with that. Certainly you can reach out to HR as well. Just want to thank Ro and Gloria for helping to make that possible. And then also just want to keep giving you updates relative to vaccines by state. And then we'll upload kind of the documentation or the links for you into the chat so that you've got that availability. In DC, both DC government and the Department of Health are allowing for staff to enroll to get the vaccination, and you can register at that website. And right now, publicly, all DC residents 65 and up are now eligible to get the vaccine, including DC healthcare workers, regardless of where you live. So again, if you're in the DMV area, you could live in Maryland, you could live in Virginia, and yet because you're employed by St. John's in DC, you are eligible to get a vaccination through DC. But the slots are filling up incredibly fast there. I said that before. I still get the updates from DC, and literally you'll get an update that says, hey, we've got X number of spots available. And then, minutes later, another email will come through saying those are all full. So if it's something you want to pursue, you definitely have to be on top of it and work the process. In Delaware, they've also begun rollout of 1A and 1B, although limited in doses. In Delaware, residents age 65 and older also can register at the website, which will be posted in chat. Delaware DOH and DDDS have been sending weekly QR codes to agencies to distribute to staff. Staff wanting to receive the vaccine can follow the instructions in the QR code, which changes weekly, so you've got to get the most up to date. And if you have questions, please feel free to reach out to either Kathy Landis or Laura as well. And then in New York, SJCS staff in Tompkins County are eligible for the vaccination. Staff persons wishing to receive the vaccine visit the county's website, and that's the Tompkins County website, which will be put in the chat. And then similarly in Tennessee, there's a website that you can check there. TN residents can go to this link and find information in terms of where to go for the vaccine. And then finally, in Virginia, people residing in residential supportive services, healthcare providers, and human service workers have been classified as primary group 1A in Virginia. Staff wishing to learn if you qualify for the vaccine should go to the following page to get in contact with their local health department. And Kwaku has been working with the local Department of Health to secure appointments. So again, best you can do is follow these links, check it out, and once you get the vaccination, I would say both, because you need two in some situations. The Johnson & Johnson one requires one. They've applied for emergency use authorization. But whatever documentation you get at whatever stage, please feel free to upload that, or please do upload that for us through Paycom so that we have a record of that. It's really important. And then I also just want to continue to remind you that, just because we get the vaccine doesn't mean that we aren't required to wear masks. So those mandates are still in place. The mandates to use universal precautions are still in place, to use your masks and wear them, either when you are in a home providing services, when you're in the presence of someone that you're supporting or a fellow team member, or when you're doing essential work in the office, okay? It is required to have masks, and that's the way that we are able to slow the spread and keep each other safe. I heard reference to another organization that works in IDD services in the DMV area, where DDDS did a surprise announcement, or DDS did a surprise announcement and visited sites and found staff not wearing masks and having any protective gear. And what comes with that is, warnings and fines, but great risk. They're putting the people they support in harm's way. They're putting team members in harm's way, and they themselves are being put in harm's way. And so, it makes me really, really proud of the efforts of everybody throughout this pandemic. The fact that you guys continue to set the bar, and you're continuing to step up and wear masks and work in uncomfortable situations and added challenges because of PPE. But I just want to thank you so much, and just remind you that those mandates still continue. We're starting to finally nationally see hospitalization rates coming down, active cases coming down, but they're still very, very high, and they will be for some time. And I read an article recently that said to really get to some level of herd immunity will require about 75 to 80% of the American population to be vaccinated. And right now we're at basically 2%. Now we'll see big waves as we're able to get people going through those second doses. But it tells you we're not out of this yet, and we still have a long way to go. And so I just encourage you all, for your own safety, for those of your loved ones, certainly those for the people we support, hang in there, keep fighting the good fight, and keep wearing masks. Okay, I think that is it in terms of COVID at this point in time. I will just kind of transition to my update, and then I'll open it up to the rest of the leadership team. But really excited because this week, I sent it on email earlier, but I got the email Monday morning, I believe it was, from Gallup. And that was so that I could participate in the employee engagement survey called Q12 that we're doing with Gallup. And this, for me, I could not be more excited about this initiative because, and the reason why is Gallup is like the gold standard when it comes to collecting data, polling services. They have just been doing this for decades. And the Q12 the employee survey is kind of one of their gold standard tools that they have. And they use it worldwide. There's something like 33 million responses that they've collected through the course of all of their different surveys that they've done in partnering with organizations. Gallup is well written about. They have authored multiple books on employee engagement. I say all this because we picked them and made this investment because we want to hear honest feedback from you. We want to be the best organization possible for you to work at. And it takes your feedback to inform how we become that. We know that we're not perfect, and we know we never will be perfect, but we can certainly strive to be better and better each and every day, each and every week. And I think that learning culture here at SJCS and that desire to do better has been around for so long. So, and also the thing about Gallup is this is not a one and done kind of deal that we have with them. We've made a 3-year commitment with them to do this Q12 survey every year for the next 3 years. And my guess is we will carry beyond there. And with the Q12 survey, we also get to sit down. We have a debrief with the management team and with those that did the survey on behalf of Gallup, so that they can help us understand the insights from the survey and begin to make recommendations on activities that will help us start moving the needle and improving. So I'm saying all this to say, there is a handful of really big initiatives that we have going on this year, and I would rank Gallup up there in the top of the list in terms of just what I think it's going to take to help us get better for you as an organization. And so please take the survey. I did mine this morning. I needed to get a couple of reminders from Gallup. It was sent to my Gmail. But sitting here with my copy this morning, it took me 5 minutes. It was basically, I had to answer a question of who I was. No, not who I was. Where I lived was one. I forget the second question. And then it took me to the next page, which had the 12 questions, answered those in about 5 minutes, and then submitted the survey, and that was it. It was great, painless, easy to do. And so just awesome. And we believe so much in this, okay, that we've brought in Josh from Gallup, and I think Josh is here. And,
I am.
All right, awesome. So Josh, welcome to our SJCS Town Hall, and thank you for taking a couple minutes to join us. Is there anything that you would want to share from your perspective, a person that works for and in Gallup and has seen this done everywhere? Please take it away. Whatever encouragement you have to offer us would be phenomenal.
Yeah, you bet, Alan, and thank you for having me, everyone. This is exciting for me to be here, and hard to follow what you just said, Alan. I think you covered all of the points, or certainly most of the points that I would have brought up in terms of Gallup and the importance of hearing your voice, right? Alan's exactly right. We've been doing employee engagement surveys here at Gallup for, gosh, probably the last 30, 40 years, something like that. Gallup really coined the term engagement survey. It used to be that companies would do satisfaction surveys, right? Are you satisfied at work? And what we found is that satisfaction is not really a great metric, right? Particularly if you're looking at improving organizational performance, right? I can be satisfied with my job and kind of go in and, do my work and go home and, sort of have a somewhat of a blasé attitude towards it. Well, that, having a lot of folks like that in the organization is really not going to lead to outstanding performance. So that's where we looked at the concept of engagement. And when we talk about engagement, we're really talking about this emotional connection to the organization, right? This willingness to give discretionary effort. These are the things that we talk about when we talk about a fully engaged organization. And it's far different than satisfaction. And we've actually, we're Gallup, we've been studying human behavior for 80 years. You've probably, heard of us through polling or things that you see on CNN. We still do a lot of that. But what we are very good at is asking the right questions that will help people make better decisions. And we've applied that to the employee space, to the talent space, to the employee engagement space. And so, we've linked organizations that have high levels of engagement to performance outcomes, whatever they might be. In a corporate environment, it could be profit or sales. In a nonprofit, it might be how well you're serving the people that you serve. So whatever the organizational outcome you're looking for, it's going to be better when you have more highly engaged employees. And the only way to know if you have highly engaged employees is to ask. And so we put a lot of thought and effort and research into the questions that we think actually link to outcomes. And at the end of the day, we came up with these 12 questions, right? And Alan described it perfectly. We call it the Q12 because there's 12 questions, although we do ask a satisfaction question. We call that Q0 because a lot of organizations still want to try to understand that. So just 12 questions, and from that we can determine, how highly engaged the workforce is. The other critical thing to reiterate, and I'm sure your leadership team, has talked about this, is we need participation, right? It doesn't work if you don't take the survey. Our clients, we average about 80–84% in terms of response rate. You all are low right now, and we just launched it a little bit ago, so there's time, but please go in and take it. It's sort of like, the analogy I often use is like elections, right? If you don't vote, you don't have a say in what's going on. You can't, complain about what's going on in the organization if you don't vote. This is your opportunity to vote on how the organization is doing. You all have such an important mission, and the work you do is so important that we need to make sure that you are free of things that are, preventing you or hampering you from delivering the very best services and resources to the folks that you serve. One question we always get in these is confidentiality. And you'll notice that this survey comes from Gallup. Gallup is the one sending the survey out. Gallup is the one that gets the information. And the organization itself, not Alan, not anyone in the senior leadership team, can get individual responses in any way. If you came to us and said, I will pay you more to see the individual responses, Gallup won't do it. And we've had organizations that we've worked with try to do that. And we say, nope, can't do it, won't do it. This is our stock and trade. Confidentiality is so critical for this. And we've had to fire clients that, wanted to kind of go behind our back and try to get this information or ask us to provide it for them. So please rest assured that your responses will be confidential. This is for the organization to look in the aggregate and say, okay, as an organization, this is what we see. These are the things that we do extremely well. And these are some areas that we maybe need to focus on. And we want to hear from you. If you think the organization is awesome and everything is great and perfect, we want to hear from you. And we also, if there's challenges, if there are things that are frustrating, we want to hear that as well, because we can't, the organization and we're Gallup is committed to partnering with SJCS on this journey. We're working together, but we don't know what to work on if we don't hear from you. So strongly encourage you to take the survey. Feel very comfortable about the confidentiality aspect of it. Please don't let that be a barrier. As folks have said, and I see in the chat, it takes 5 minutes to do. Again, it's like 12 questions, but it's so important for the leadership team, for the organization to figure out how we can make work at SJCS as easy and efficient and productive as possible. So I'm happy to answer any questions. I'm glad you guys invited me to participate. I love doing these sessions. Gallup does this twice a year. Best practice is once a year. You all are committed to that. You're committed to 3 years, which is great. We're committed to sharing the results. That's so important to hear back what you said and then to act on them. And I know Alan and the team have committed to acting on what the feedback is. So please get in there, take it as soon as you can. If you didn't get a survey or somehow you don't see it, let someone know and we'll make sure to get it resent. So don't let the technical issues be the and again, your voice matters and we want to hear it.
Yeah, do check your junk folders, because the survey email went to my personal home email and it ended up in my junk folder, which I hardly ever look at. So do check that out. And for those of you, and you're hearing that it's a much more streamlined survey than what we have had in the past through our employee survey. So for those of you who have been around long enough, and there's a good number, to have taken part in our previous employee surveys. This is a lot simpler, a lot cleaner. It will really only take you a couple of minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes if you really, stop and think about it, but won't even take that long. And I want to emphasize too what Josh just touched on, and maybe you can talk a little bit more about it, and that is the follow through, which again, for those of you who have been around long enough, the last couple of surveys, and the last one I think we did was about 3 years ago, we did not follow through really well with the results and what staff were telling us, and we hadn't the survey before. So we're really making a concerted effort to follow up on what we hear from staff, and Gallup is going to support us through that process.
George, just to piggyback on that, and thank you so much for saying it, I did want to also just sort of underline that we are committed to being transparent with the results of this, sharing with the team, seeking feedback about how we can make these better, and really using these surveys as sort of the base or the framework or the foundation for true and meaningful growth. And so, we do recognize that we've not always held up our end of the bargain here. We're super committed to doing that and doing it as a team. So thank you, George, for bringing that up.
Yeah, and I just want to jump in, and in the interest of time too, we are so committed to this that we want to take 5 minutes right now in our meeting and provide you an opportunity to check your email and go ahead and take the survey right now. Okay, so check your personal email, work email. It's tied back to the email you signed up in with Paycom. And so we don't know what you signed up with. I mean, we provided and we sent it from an aggregate standpoint, but it's tied to that email. So check your work email. If you think you may have used that, check your personal email. But we're going to just take a little bit of a water break right here. And if you've completed it, great. Check your own email and catch up on stuff that's happening in the midst of this meeting. Talk amongst yourself if you would like. But otherwise, please, if you haven't done it yet, take 5 minutes right now. We'll give it to you. 5 minutes right now. Take it. It won't take you long. We'll press pause here and then we'll pick it up. And again, I just want to reinforce, this is 100% confidential. As Josh mentioned, this is very important. We receive no personal identifying information relative to who takes this. And then the second thing I would say is it's also accessible. Okay, so knowing that some of our staff have various accessibility tools that they use, those tools are available to you to use with this as well. So that's another great feature about this. So go ahead, pause right there. And then if you have completed it, that's wonderful. If you need to use a restroom break, get a glass of water, whatever it is, go ahead and do that. And I'll reconvene us in a couple of minutes. Okay, thanks.
So, Alan, do you mind if I
thank you?
Oh, go ahead, Josh. Yeah, thank you
I was
so
just
much.
gonna say I'm gonna head out. I appreciate the opportunity. I look forward to seeing the response rate numbers tick up dramatically with this break here to take it. So again, I think this is going to be exciting. We're super excited to work for you, and we love working with mission-driven organizations like yours. So this is going to be a lot of fun.
Cool. Thank you, Josh, for your time. Really appreciate your support through this process.
You bet. Absolutely. Good luck, guys. Bye.
All right, guys, we'll reconvene in a couple minutes. Go ahead. Feel free to take that right now. And if for some reason, while you're doing that, if you can't find it, it's possible that we don't have the right email for you. Maybe there's an issue with the email. If you I would do this. You can either put your email in the chat if you want, or you could message directly in the chat to Rich, and he'll grab that email. Okay. So if you go, and if you don't know how to do that, if you go to the chat, where down at the bottom right, where it's the chat box and says everyone, there's a little drop down area. If you click on that, you can scroll through all the participants. You can find Richard Bennett, our RIT student, and you can put your email that you would like in that. And that way, if you don't have it, we'll be able to get it resent to you. All right. So just message Rich directly with your email if you don't have it, and we'll get that taken care of for you. All right. We'll take a pause right here. I also want to just say, while people are looking and doing this, thank you again for everyone that's putting in comments, both encouraging everyone to do it, how easy it is. You know, Anna, we see the email that you sent there. That's great. And then also, Tom, thank you for that as well. That's really helpful. That's great. So Tom mentioned particularly search your email for, quote, a reminder, have you shared your opinion yet? And that's one thing too that, you know, a couple of people said, hey, I signed up for Gallup stuff before. So sometimes it hits your email and you don't always register what it's for, but that's what it's for. So.
Just a couple things that have come up. There was a question about how long this goes. I would beg you not to wait until the very last second, but the survey does. This is the end of the first week, so it will run through next weekend, I believe, but just trying to get those in. Also, as a reminder, we are using probably the personal email you used in Paycom, not your work email address.
We're going to go to give you a couple more minutes, so like 3:13, and then we'll move on to updates. But by all means, if you're not done by the time we reconvene, don't worry about it. Just finish your survey, you know, and just can either listen to us in the background, mute us, whatever allows you to concentrate. You can join us when you're completed. The key is working to get it done.
Also, just under the heading of bragging rights and bribery, we are going to develop a trophy to whichever state has the highest percentage of survey response, and we will use that for bragging rights, both for this and other activities through SJCS. We're also trying to come up with some other rewards for this and trying to come up with a path. If it wasn't for COVID, I'm sure we would throw a great party, and it's one thing I think we do incredibly well is throw a great party. So perhaps that'll be something down the road, but finding some other ways to reward the winning state. A couple specific kudos. Bessie, your team was held up as actually having the highest rate of percentage to date. So congratulations for that and the marketing team. From a state perspective, DC is, Tennessee is actually in the lead with 8% complete, and DC is at 7.59% complete. Obviously, we'd like that to be closer to 80 or 90% complete, but it's a start. Delaware and New York, the numbers are too small to report, again, based on some of those protections, but as smaller organizations, I think you have some advantage in this percentage model. So get the team going out there. And Virginia, also, I don't have a report. I'm sorry, Alan. So that might mean that your current numbers are too low. So Kwaku,
so nobody did shit. I'm sorry. Oh man, nothing.
I'm looking at you, Kwaku. You got to get your team going. What's going on out there?
I just did mine just now. I take full responsibility. I take that.
Sorry, I'm muted there. Just in the interest of time and going to keep things moving, I want to make sure that we have an opportunity for key areas to give updates and highlights. Okay, so we're going to open it up now. Just a reminder, because we're on YouTube, okay, if your highlight involves someone that we support in any way, shape, or form programmatically, be careful in terms of their personal identifying information. So if you want to share, either change a name or just make sure we don't, necessarily, we're public on YouTube. So even though it would take a little bit for people to find us, just bear that in mind. Okay, who would like to start? Rich, do you want to keep the ball moving? You've been, talking already relative to Gallup. Is there anything from an HR standpoint otherwise that you would like to touch on? Or anything else for that matter?
I would like to throw it to Kathy for a minute, as we have talked about some of the challenges related to working with folks on the other side of losing a staff member. She just wanted to kind of make a reminder. Kathy, are you there?
I'm here. Hi, everybody. Yes, I just want to make a point that to all staff that if your benefits eligible, whether it's part-time or full-time, permanent status, you have the life insurance benefit through St. John's that is equal to one time your salary. So it's very important that you designate beneficiaries. If you did so in ADP, that doesn't necessarily mean that they transferred over when we went to Paycom last summer. So you want to make sure that you're checking your Paycom app for your beneficiaries and that they are updated.
Thank you for that, Kathy. You know, this is a hard process, and it's hard to even think about loved ones going through the process of trying to come to terms with a loss of a family member. And, you know, little things that you might not think of right now, trying to talk through, gee, we don't have a name on this beneficiary, and then having to go through whatever legal processes to get that fixed is just one more deep cut in the midst of a lot of pain. So please do take a minute just to check there and fill your name out. Other than that, Alan, I think I've talked probably way too much today. So if anybody has any questions for HR, we're happy to answer them. If not, back to you.
Thank you very much, Rich. And Kathy, great point. It slipped my mind. I wanted to share that. So thank you so much. That's critical. Make sure that you have absolutely signed up your beneficiaries so that people know. And that's just one more piece of the process that our team does such an amazing job, is trying to expedite kind of that for people. So, all right, who wants to go next?
I'll kick it off.
All right, you got it, Kwaku.
All right. So in regards to the Gallup survey, I'm not going to give too much insight in regards to what the prizes are in the ballpark, but anybody who's here, we need those prizes, y'all. You know, these prizes, and they're not mugs. You can actually do a lot with these prizes. So, and I need it. I'm just going to tell you, do it for me. Do it for me. If you care about me, please do the survey so I can also utilize that prize myself. But on the serious note too, really want to just thank everybody on the team. What we just talked about in regards to how we try to support each other as a community, not when just something happens, even after that fact. And we don't talk about it, but I just want to say thank you for everybody who's part of our community. As a team, we really care about you, not just at work, but on a personal side too. Other big type of things where I'm really excited about is this initiative. The other initiative as we try to utilize technology to keep people connected, isolated. We already seen some of the benefits of that. We're really excited about even the next steps as they continue to roll out. Also, we were able to have our first vaccination clinic last week, and they were really happy. They're saying as an organization, probably that was probably one of their better experiences as it related to us being able to help people and staff get vaccinated. And also a big shout out to DC also for helping us facilitate that with people who couldn't do it in Virginia, being able to get connected through us having an organization in DC. And the other big thing is we got a donation from one of our board members, one of the persons and their friends. They donated some furniture for us, and as people are doing their holiday shopping and and new home projects, we've been able to benefit and get some new furniture, some new items, and we've been able to put them to use. So just want to say those are the big things.
Thank you, Kwaku.
Okay, I'll go next.
Thanks, John.
Okay, say residential, we're doing great things. True times are hard now, but residential, we just keep on keeping on. We have 3 new participants in the OASIS program, and to see that your organization is bringing hope to somebody, hope in people's eyes is a wonderful thing. I just cannot explain it. Every time we do something like we're doing, it's like the first time for me. So we're still out there giving people hope. And the 3 previous participants that we have, they're living their best life. They come from a homeless state, and now they're in their own state. So that's a wonderful thing to see. We also have wonderful things going with our participants in residential. We have one particular person who's always been an advocate for her peers, and now she's leading her own advocacy meeting. As a matter of fact, she had her first advocacy meeting last week, and it was wonderful. She led it with confidence and with as if she's been doing it all her life. So that was such a beautiful thing to see as well. We also have other participants that participated in the citywide advocacy meeting where they did a survey. They did a wonderful job. I was able to participate as a spectator and to see how our guys fared around everybody in the city was beautiful. They really stood out. Now, also in the medical portion of our folks, we have a person that's is a diabetic and been taking insulin for years. And now this particular person, he's given his own insulin, so that was a really big thing for me to see. And you should see how proud that person is to be able to participate in his own medication regimen. And also we have a person and she's has severe difficulties, but because of technology, she's been able to use her iPad. She's been able to communicate with her mother a lot more and more efficiently than she ever has before. And you should see the joy that this brings to her and her mother and siblings. Now, we also have, in reference to our staff, we have more people becoming TMEs than we have in a while. And that's a big help. So my hat goes out to all of the new TMEs, the newbies. And I can't go without saying thank you to the RTLs. They've been showing up and stepping up throughout the whole pandemic. You have to see these people at work. I'm not going to mention their names. I really would like to, but they know who they are. So I just want to say thank you. Keep stepping up. Keep doing the job that you're doing, and we really do appreciate you. I know it don't seem like it all the time, but we really do. And on a personal side, I would like to thank all of you all for the birthday wishes that you all gave me. The video was a trip. Thank you all who participated in the video, but thank you, and I love all you all. That's it.
John, you want to ask a quick question? Happy birthday, John. How did the cooking class go?
Oh, that was the bomb. I ain't want to talk about that. I was bragging, but to me, I know the food was good.
But he wouldn't share that secret sauce. He kept saying no and turning away from the video.
Well, thanks for doing that. And I know that Brittany and her team have also been really working hard on those art option trainings. And please make it to them if you can and invite the clients. Just really excited to be able to bring a little bit of joy to our staff and those we serve. So, John, thanks for doing that. I heard great things.
Okay, great.
And happy birthday again, John. That's wonderful. And thank you for giving the update on behalf of DC. Brittany was off today, but will join us again in the future. Thank you so much, John.
Well, thank you.
All right, who's up next?
I can go next.
Okay,
Oh, go ahead, Roy.
Hello, everybody, from snowy upstate New York. You may or may not know that this week we got a huge snowstorm, about 2 feet, according to Wayne Mahar, who's our local forecaster for many, many years. Anyway, we got a lot of snow. And when that happens, as it did this week, we got a lot of people who were unsheltered came into shelter. So our numbers are now up to about 115, significantly more than it was last week, due directly to the the snowstorm, which is a good thing, right? We don't want people out in the cold, and we want them safe and out of harm's way. Our numbers have ticked up in the shelter, as have our numbers of food that we're putting out of the pantry. So last month, I tabulated the data from last month, and we served 1,700 meals out of our shelter last month, which is an enormous number, and much needed in these times. In addition to that, thanks to the hard work of Janine, anyone that comes into the shelter, we have more toothbrushes than we know what to do with. So anyone that comes to the pantry or into the shelter, they get a brand new, mostly green toothbrush. So yay, Janine, thank you so much. Just a little update on the until just recently this week, our clientele, the folks in shelter, were not eligible for the vaccine, but they are this week. So we've have a push on to get some folks signed up for the vaccine. We're dealing with a population that is reluctant to do so. So we're doing the best we can to make sure that they have the information available to get signed up for a vaccine. And also staff. We have staff this week that they've opened up some new vaccines and made it available. So we're also letting people know that if they want the vaccine, it's available this week and they can sign up. So things are going good. Sunny day here. We had a terrible 3 days of snow, 2 feet, and it's sort of 45 and sunny here today. So we welcome that very much. That's it from New York. Thank you.
Just a quick note, since we have a survey theme today, that this spring we will be reinstituting our stakeholder surveys, something that we've been doing for decades, reaching out to individuals we support, family members, government officials, and others to get their feedback on our work. We let those lapse last year because of the pandemic, but this spring we'll be reinstituting them. Not sure of the format yet. But as everyone that has participated in the past knows, that there'll be a role for pretty much everybody in the organization in making that happen. So more later at future town halls.
That's awesome, George. Thank you. And just I just want to reinforce how great that is, getting the toothbrushes, and it looks like there's now Band-Aids and some hot cold packs on the way. And then on top of that, there's been a lot of coats that have come in through Burlington Coat Factory. Those things are incredibly essential and incredibly also dignity giving to those that are coming into shelter. So wonderful job on that. That's phenomenal. So excellent. Who's up next?
I would like to mention that that Amanda pointed out to me that the eagle appears to be sitting on my head. It's not, just in case you're wondering.
You're killing me here, Roy. Yeah, because I just saw you sit back and I was like, yeah, he's doing it on purpose now. You're killing me.
All right, who's up? We got a couple left.
I can go. Just to give an update, we sent out tax letters to all of the donors this year, which includes you guys, employees who donated through the employee program. We found out, though, that at the beginning of the year, there seemed to be a shift in process, or something happened, and all the employee giving was not noted in Bloomerang. So just so you know, we are working to correct that and get out revised tax statements to everyone. So I apologize for that snafu, but we'll be getting those out as quickly as possible to you guys. So don't do anything with the ones we sent you yet, and we'll send you revised ones. The marketing team, along with some leadership team and some other team members, went through a great fundraising class adventure planning session this past week, and it was really impactful and emotional. And we're looking forward to rolling that out. We're working on those next steps. So just wanted to share that we've been working on that, and we'll be looping everybody in. The big focus of that is how we are all involved in raising awareness and raising funds for St. John's, and really telling our story through that. So look for more information coming out on that. In terms of campaigns that are going on right now, we're getting ready to do another donor sorry, I can't talk today. Another donor mailing went out yesterday, and we have a campaign coming up in in March. So that's going to be a big one that hopefully will bring some awareness and some more donations. Just a reminder, thank you everyone who shared dreams with us or got your participants to share dreams. I just put in the chat box the link to the dream page on our website, and we'll be utilizing that page throughout some of the other campaigns. So just aware that that's going to continue to be updated. So don't stop sharing dreams with us. Also going to put Poshmark. Our page is getting some good traction. Almost $1,000 sold on there. If you want to go shopping, there are some great new bags that Janine put up there. So be on the lookout for those. And then the other big item that we're working on, the marketing team is working with Amanda Newell and Harlan Morris on doing some marketing plans and finalizing all of that. So that'll be coming up shortly.
Awesome, Bessie. Thank you. And something that Bessie said reminded me that there's another form that's available for you. This one's on Paycom, and that's your W-2. So Renita sent out an announcement about that. But in addition to the development team sending out letters relative to employee giving that you'll receive personally, at the same time, your W-2 is available for download if you need to do that electronically via Paycom, okay? And I just want to reiterate, last week's masterclass was absolutely a phenomenal experience. I'm so grateful for everyone that went through that and was willing to go through it. And I am really excited. A big part of what it talked about was a new ambition for St. John's. How do we state what we're about? How do we state what we want to accomplish as an organization? A lot more to come on that, all right? And it's going to take a while for us to kind of codify it and then figure out how to launch it and roll it out. But last week was pivotal in that process and created a tremendous amount of unity and excitement. And more to come on that. You will certainly be part of that process as we, again, solidify our plans for the future and our messaging. But a lot to be excited about. And I think it'll be very inspiring when we are at a point to be able to start doing more rollout. So more to come on that. All right, who is up next?
Me, Sherry.
Hey, Sherry.
Hi, everyone. Just want to say thank you to my finance team. I mean, we've been doing a whole lot behind the scenes, and we haven't been saying much, but know that we're working so hard and working as a team and with others in different states. So I want to say thank you to the finance team, and I really appreciate all the hard work that you guys are doing, especially with this new implementation of Sage. And I want to apologize for some of the expenses that we haven't yet paid. And what's causing that is when we switched to PN3, some codings were not switched from PN3 to Sage. Some codings were not done correctly. So we're trying to get that done today to start pushing out those payments at least by Monday. But whatever we could pay you in doing ACH, we've submitted a whole lot of those payments that way. So if you see anything or it's anything that's emergency, please just email us and just let us know that this needs to get done immediately and we'll get it done. So again, I apologize for that. And pretty much we're just the same boring finance, doing revenue and expenses and just looking at that. So not much to update, but just continue working as a team in the finance department.
Awesome, Sherry. And I do want to congratulate the finance team. This is a big deal. George and I had this dream, which was a little nugget of a dream about a year ago, January. And the idea started with George. I think it was like $2,500 a week, maybe 5,000 a week. It was like 25. Could we just start socking away a little bit of money, and just as a discipline, as a habit, see where that goes. And then Sherry came on board, and the finance team got so much traction working on billing and collectibles and everything. And this past week, we just crossed over a new threshold for St. John's. We have managed to save away in an operational reserve over $1 million. So we've got $1,005,000. That's aside from our investment portfolio or our endowment restricted reserves that are there for the board to use for sustainability of the organization. This is just operational cash that Sherry and the team have managed to put aside in the event of rainy days, delayed payments, things that you just never know what's going to happen, but stuff can happen. And so that equates to more than one payroll, which is phenomenal. And I think we're now up to $15,000 a week that's going into that. And I know Sherry's planning on increasing it in the future as well. So great job, finance team, and everybody involved in that process somewhere along the line. If you are involved in billing at all or receivables at all, you're helping make that happen. And thank you so much. And again, also with PN3, the timely upload of your payables, getting all that stuff in the invoices, that's also been very helpful to the team in being able to project out what could be big expenses and plan for them. So the more communication, the more teamwork, the better off we are. But a big deal. Congratulations to all. Awesome. Okay.
Can I borrow 100,000?
What's that, John?
Can I borrow 100,000? I'll pay it back.
Why don't you take that up with Sherry?
Did you hear something, Alan? I thought I heard something. I'm not sure.
John, you're cutting out.
I think John just donated $100,000. Thank you, John.
Excellent.
Where's that mute button? All right. Okay. Who's up next? Who is up next?
I believe that's me.
All right. Precious.
So first of all, I want to say that I was a recipient to John's Jackson Manor cooking episode. We managed to, between, hooking up with Brittany, and so we managed to find our way to the Jackson Manor. And I'm telling you, like butter, baby. I'm telling you, that steak was so good. Them hamburgers were good. Tony was really dancing in the kitchen because they were so good. So thank you, John. So I just wanted to let you know that everything he presented was real. It wasn't just made for TV. And then I cracked my tooth right before this meeting. So I feel like I got a big rock in my mouth. So I'm like feeling like I'm talking funny, although you guys probably think I talk funny anyway. But anyway, tech committee been really working hard. And I just want to say thank you to them. I think for my team, my committee, I have to say thank you the most, because they all have a primary job. And so I pull them to do not just their work that they're doing, but to do additional and beyond with that added pressure. So I just want to say, thank you, because we're able to do a lot, and we're pushing, putting the pressure. Change requires pressure, and you guys have been really killing it with putting it forward so that we can provide better services, supports, and systems to both internal employees, but also to those that we support. So this week we did the TheraP conference, which we learned a lot. The biggest thing that came out of there to me was improvements in the HIE, which is the Health Information Exchange, with some work we have to do internally. So that's a little hint to let you know we got to do some work. With some work we have to do internally, what that then allows us to do is be able to communicate back and forth through our TheraP to the doctors and hospitals' electronic health record, so that we won't have to transcribe or transfer information and have to remember to have that information. They go to the doctor, we push it there. They go to the hospital, we push it there. They come back from the doctor, it pushes back directly into the health encounter form. That's big, that's huge. that's huge for us. What a tremendous saving time, what more efficiency, more correct and accurate information, medical information for the people we support, being able to have that health information exchange. We submitted our SHIFT application for accreditation this week, and I wanted to say thank you to the team, and also a special thanks to Amanda Newell in Tennessee. At the last minute, they switched the application real quick. We had already written it out. Thank you, Jamie, for being our scribe. However, they switched it out last minute, so Amanda stuck with me all day to modify what we had written to the new criteria. So I wanted to say thank you to that. We have the other states pending some information, but we'll get that squared away. The project with Voice It, remember that's the speech recognition system that helps people who have a disability with speech who may not be understood to be able to be understood, to finally be able to have a voice that they can express their needs, wants, and desires with minimal assistance. People are already programming 30 or more phrases within the application. And we need to get a little bit more training underneath our belt, but I hope that that will be one thing that we will be able to, that person themselves would be able to come forward at the town hall and be willing to share their newfound talent and skill by using the Voice It application. I would like to say that also on our tech committee, we do have people we support that's on that committee. And the reason why that's important, one is that we're just not talking and full of ourselves. Two, that we check ourselves and they check us. And that's great, because while we want to believe that we do everything within our heart to make sure that we are providing a great support to the people we support, the person who tells you you're doing a great job is the person on the other side. So we love their participation and we thank them for that. And they have really steered the committee in such a way, even telling us when we're on to something and when we're not, you know, so that's a good thing. So I do appreciate that. While we want to be change agents, we also have to be willing to be targets for change. So they definitely keep us on the target board. And then in the interest of time, because there's more tech training happening today, right after town hall with most of our managers who I still see in this meeting, with Paycom and recruiting, I will stop there and return to Alan.
Awesome. That's awesome that we have people we support on that committee. That is great. That's a great model across the board. So thank you for that. And thank you for your work there. The tech team is amazing because right now, you know, we've got Precious in this new role, and we need to build capacity, frankly, to surround her with a full-time team, you know, and so people are willing to wear yet another hat at St. John's to help get this initiative off the ground until we're at a point where we can really start, you know, expanding the permanency and more support around that team with other positions. So I'm excited about what's happening there for sure. All right, I think that's everybody. So just a couple things that I wanted to just wrap up with, just as we come to the end of our time together. And just a quick announcement, I don't think I'll be here in person next Friday. So we're working behind the scenes on figuring out who is going to be hosting next Friday. I might do a video message if I can. And then the following Friday, I think I'm off. My kids are in town, so I'll be hanging out with them. At least that's the plan at this point in time. And so we'll be getting guest hosts for the next 2 Fridays is probably the plan at this point in time, but we will be having town hall. So be sure to make sure to sign on for that. These are great times. We want to keep going. February is Black History Month. And I wanted to take the time, even though we're running a little bit over, I think it's really important to acknowledge not just Black history, but the making of Black history. And because it's not every day that we get to witness it in person. And so January 20th was a big day with Kamala Harris being sworn in as our next or current vice president. Super excited. If you've never read her book, The Truths We Hold, you absolutely need to check it out. It is phenomenal. I read it during the course of the election campaigning, and it was really, really good. So you'll have to check that out. Again, it's Kamala Harris, The Truth We Hold. If you want to learn more about our vice president, be sure to check her out in that book. And then the last thing I want to do, because, I wanted, January 20th was amazing. Kamala Harris was amazing. I wish I had more time. I would show you her swearing in. But what I do want to do is also show what I think is going to be, again, history that we look back on in the years to come. And we're going to get to be the people that say, we were here virtually and witnessed this moment. So I'm going to share my screen, and then I'm going to play the video of Amanda Gorman reciting her amazing poem, The Hill We Climb. And I don't think she wrote it, but it did an amazing job as a poet laureate reciting it. So I'm just going to share that and play that for you now. Everybody see that okay? Thank you.
Biden, Madam Vice President, Mr. Emhoff, Americans, and the world. When day comes, we ask ourselves, where can we find light in this never-ending shade? The loss we carry, a sea we must wade. We've braved the belly of the beast. We've learned that quiet isn't always peace, and the norms and notions of what just isn't always just is. And yet the dawn is ours before we knew it. Somehow we do it. Somehow we've weathered and witnessed a nation that isn't broken, but simply unfinished. We, the successors of a country and a time where a skinny Black girl descended from slaves and raised by a single mother can dream of becoming president, only to find herself reciting for one. And yes, we are far from polished, far from pristine, but that doesn't mean we are striving to form a union that is perfect. We are striving to forge our union with purpose, to compose a country committed to all cultures, colors, characters, and conditions of man. And so we lift our gazes not to what stands between us, but what stands before us. We close the divide because we know to put our future first. We must first put our differences aside. We lay down our arms so we can reach out our arms to one another. We seek harm to none and harmony for all. Let the globe, if nothing else, say this is true. That even as we grieved, we grew, that even as we hurt, we hoped, that even as we tired, we tried, that we'll forever be tied together, victorious, not because we will never again know defeat, but because we will never again sow division. Scripture tells us to envision that everyone shall sit under their own vine and fig tree, and no one shall make them afraid. If we're to live up to our own time, then victory won't lie in the blade, but in all the bridges we've made. That is the promise to Glade, the hill we climb, if only we dare it, because being American is more than a pride we inherit. It's the past we step into and how we repair it. We've seen a force that would shatter our nation rather than share it, would destroy our country if it meant delaying democracy. And this effort very nearly succeeded. But while democracy can be periodically delayed, it can never be permanently defeated. In this truth, in this faith we trust, for while we have our eyes on the future, history has its eyes on us. This is the era of just redemption. We feared it in its inception. We did not feel prepared to be the heirs of such a terrifying hour, but within it we found the power to author a new chapter, to offer hope and laughter to ourselves. So while once we asked, How could we possibly prevail over catastrophe? Now we assert, how could catastrophe possibly prevail over us? We will not march back to what was, but move to what shall be, a country that is bruised, but whole, benevolent, but bold, fierce, and free. We will not be turned around or interrupted by intimidation, because we know our inaction and inertia will be the inheritance of the next generation. Our blunders become their burdens. But one thing is certain: if we merge mercy with might and might with right, then love becomes our legacy and change our children's birthright. So let us leave behind a country better than the one we were left. With every breath from my bronze pounded chest, we will raise this wounded world into a wondrous one. We will rise from the gold-limbed hills of the West. We will rise from the windswept Northeast, where our forefathers first realized revolution. We will rise from the lake-rimmed cities of the Midwestern states. We will rise from the sun-baked South. We will rebuild, reconcile, and recover in every known nook of our nation, in every corner called our country. Our people, diverse and beautiful, will emerge battered and beautiful. When day comes, we step out of the shade of flame and unafraid. The new dawn blooms as we free it. For there is always light, if only we're brave enough to see it, if only we're brave enough to be it.
Awesome. And just to restate what I said earlier, she did write that. So George, thank you for sending that to me. My wife mentioned it to me. I double checked it on my phone. The Hill We Climb by Amanda Gorman, and just remarkable and phenomenal day all the way around on January 20th. And I do believe that in many respects, we witnessed literal history, and then I think we'll be reading about and seeing from people like Amanda Gorman and her specifically for years for the next generation to come, which is just phenomenal. So I hope that you found it as inspiring as I did. And I hope that it inspires you as you go into this weekend. And there's so many words to pull out of that. But what she throws out there is such a great ambition. And I think, how do we as St. John's fit into that? And how do we play our part individually and collectively in trying to climb that hill together? So thank you all so much for giving us your time this afternoon. Thank you for everything that you do at St. John's, whether you're heading into your shift, whether you are coming off a long week. Thank you for all that you are either about to do or have done on behalf of those we serve and support. Have just a wonderful weekend. I hope that you find time to rest, and to rejuvenate, and to spend time with your loved ones. So take care all. I'll hang out for a couple minutes, but have a wonderful weekend.
Take care, everybody. Good weekend.
Thank you.
Any final picks for the Super Bowl before people go?
As long as
Kansas City.
they'll be happy.
Wait, who said what? I missed any pick.
Kansas City.
Kansas City. Steve's with Kansas City. All right.
Yeah. Both teams have a lot of talent, but I think that KC has more. So, and I personally could care less if Brady wins anything else ever again. So
Careful, Roy, just a little resentment drip right there. A little.
That's right. He's been scarred for life. I'm ready.
He's beat the Bills so many times, I can't even, it's.
Yep.
Yeah, I think this is his first Super Bowl appearance when not in the position of sort of oh gosh, what is it? The wild card. This is his first time ever in a Super Bowl as a wild card team.
Although the irony in this is he kind of seemingly has handed off the baton to Mahomes, who Roy now feels is going to win the Super Bowl. So, so I don't know. Aren't you conflicted at all about that?
I am. I don't know what the hell to think, but
Yeah, but at least Kansas City's not in the same division. I'm sure that makes it a lot easier.
right.
They just stand in the way of going to the Super Bowl. For the
Oh, they sure do.
So, all right, there we go.
So Alan, how about those Hotspurs though? That was quite the game, huh?
Gosh, that was terrible. Stupid
Oh,
penalty.
I thought it was pretty good,
I
other than
imagine-
Pulisic being on the bench for too long.
I thought it was tremendous. It was, you know what? I felt like Chelsea just owned the momentum the entire game. And I felt like even though we showed a little bit more urgency coming in the second half, it died out within 10, 15 minutes. And I don't know how you can play the way as soft as they do with 20 minutes left to play and you're down one. Yeah, I just don't understand that thinking.
Yeah, they looked a little defeated at the end. I have to admit, I was a little bit scared at the beginning of the second half. They came out with real purpose, but
I thought the penalty was probably a penalty, but kind of ticky tack, and but they've lost 5 of their last 9, so they're on a slide.
Brutal.
Not gonna. They're in 8th right now. I imagine at the end of the weekend we'll be out of the top 10 potentially. So I didn't see the schedule yet, but we'll see. So we play Sunday though. So we play at 7 o'clock Sunday morning.
Yeah,
So
well, it was nice to get one back against you guys, I have to say. But
you guys just owned it. It was great game to see. So
yeah. All right. Hey, have a great weekend.
Playing against, I think your team comes out ready to go up against their old manager. I think that gives them a little extra incentive.
Yes, I think you're right.
So
yeah, well, and plus, everybody's now playing for their careers. Chelsea's now has a new manager too, so no spot is safe anymore. So I think there's a urgency for everybody on that team.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, it was a good game, but congratulations.
Yeah, no money on that one though, unfortunately. Oh well.
$5. All our standard bet. I'll have that on it. All right,
yeah,
guys.
I think I have to know what to do anyway. All right, man. Take care.
Hey, yeah. Good weekend, everyone.
All right,
You too, Roy.
Yeah.